So you start running a Google Ads campaign, your expectations are high, you're excited, and as time goes on, you're realizing you're getting 0 conversions. 0, nothing, no conversions in your account. What is going on here? I thought Google Ads was meant to be a method of marketing that was really accurate because you're targeting people looking for your products and services. So why are there 0 conversions? What's going on here? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what to do when you're getting 0 conversions on your Google Ads account. Because in all honesty, there should never be a scenario where you get 0 conversions if you do the right things. So let's take a look and see where you could be going wrong. The first thing you've got to do is go into your search terms report, because this is going to unlock so many different ways of seeing your campaign versus how users and potential customers see your campaign. You set your campaign up with keywords, and of course those keywords have to match to user search terms. So going through the search terms report to get the real world data that the people are typing into Google to find your ads, that's going to give you so many clues as to why you're getting 0 conversions. Take a look at that search terms data. Is it accurate? Is it in line with what you're expecting? Is it in line with your products and services? If it's completely irrelevant traffic coming through, you're going to have to take some measures to improve your traffic quality. This could be changing your match type from broad or phrase to exact, so the traffic quality is much better and more in line with what you're bidding for, especially in a new campaign or new account where there isn't an opportunity for broad match to be useful because smart bidding probably hasn't got enough data. But also, of course, there is negative keywords. You need to add negative keywords to your campaign to make sure you're filtering out the irrelevant search terms and stopping your budget being wasted on those. That's one of the obvious key areas to look into, but I can already hear you asking, well, I've looked at my search terms, things look pretty good, why am I still getting no conversions? Well, even if you think the search terms look good, it's still worth checking, and here's how. Take the most clicked search terms in your search terms report, go to Google and type them in and have a look at the search results page. Are you seeing what you expected? Are you seeing businesses that you're expecting to see within your products and service niche? If not, then there's going to be a mismatch between how you think people are searching and how people actually use the search terms that you're searching for. Just to make it clear, let me give you an example. So I work with a manufacturing business and they provide silicon molding, so making products by using molds for manufacturing. So if a company wants parts, they can get them made by this other company I work with. We were bidding, of course, on keywords exactly in line with that service offering. So you think, hey, this should be all good. This should be a working campaign. But as time went on, we were getting no conversions. So I had to do this investigation. I took the most searched terms from the search term report and I put it into Google. And what did I find? I found that all of the businesses showing on the organic results and in the ads results were basically hobbyists. There were people selling silicon molding kits for people who are like hobbyists, who make products in their garage, who are making things out of molds. Maybe they're into 3D printing too. Not big manufacturers, you know, like if you're a medical devices company or a manufacturer who wants to buy parts. Just a complete mismatch compared to what the campaign actually targeted. But the problem we had was people who are hobbyists who would make things in their garage search in exactly the same way as people who are looking for a manufacturing supplier and a partner. They had no distinction between how they searched, but what the search terms report told me was things looked pretty good. But what the Google search results told me is actually nobody is really looking for manufacturers. Most people typing in those search terms are looking for just buying a kit off of Amazon. So to fix this, we of course still wanted to show, because there'd be a small percentage of people who are looking for a manufacturing supplier partner, we had to make the ads a bit of a gatekeeper. We made the ads pinned content in the headlines and descriptions, explicitly saying for business only, large scale manufacturing, etc., etc. And what happened? Well, our click-through rate plummeted, which is expected. Our traffic plummeted, which is expected, but we started getting conversions. All it means is we have a low volume campaign, which is okay because manufacturing is a niche industry when it comes to Google Ads. We're not talking about consumer goods here. It's a very niche B2B offering. So having a small campaign is no problem. It will ultimately be a small campaign, so that's fine. We've fixed the problem by changing the ads and understanding the search terms report, and more importantly, understanding the Google search results page as well. You need to do the same for your business if you're getting 0 conversions. So another reason why you may be getting 0 conversions comes down to your website. Maybe it just sucks. If the search terms are all good and the search results page looks good too, then maybe your website just isn't doing a good job of moving people from a click to a customer. A good website needs to be able to do 5 key things. Effectively communicate what what you do, clearly show why people should pick your business over your competitors, build trust with the website visitors, show proof that you can do the work, the job, or create the product, and clearly tell people what to do next. How can they take action? And all of these 5 points need to be done within a clear design that's easy to understand, easy to navigate. Of course, design is very subjective. There are people who think that the Apple website looks great, but if you're a small business and you're copying the Apple website, you're going to be very wrong, because Apple is all about brand. There's not much call to action. It's not really compelling people to take action because people already know the brand of Apple. They already want the iPhone. So you following a path like Apple, getting a very nice, pretty, well-designed, minimalist website, it's not going to do the job for you. But you have to also balance a nice design with a functional design and making sure you cover those 5 things I mentioned. Make sure there's a clear call to action throughout all the content where you're telling people what to do. Buy now, call now, get a quote, schedule a free consultation, book a demo, whatever it is, you've got to communicate that with buttons clearly on your site and at regular intervals. The hero section, the bottom section, throughout the middle of the content as well. Make sure you're communicating that correctly, because if you don't have call to action, people aren't going to know what to do next, and it's going to take them effort to find out what to do next, and you want to minimize their effort. You need to write compelling headings, whether it's the top heading of the main page or whether it's subheadings throughout the content. Your heading needs to be keyword relevant, but also compelling and interesting and promoting your USPs and benefits. So it takes a bit of balance between keyword relevance and also selling what you do, selling the dream essentially. You need to clearly communicate your offer. What are you doing for people? What are your services? How are you going to help them? And mix that in with your USPs and benefits. What makes you unique compared to other businesses? What's the offer that's really going to get people over the line? When you talk to your customers and communicate with them, you'll understand what it is that made them tick, what made them go through the process. Are there any offers you've got online now? Get to the point of what your USPs and benefits are. Sit down and write them down, because they need to be effectively communicated on your website. And of course, you need to build up trust as well. So building trust using reviews and testimonials. If you've got reviews on your Google business page, or maybe you use something more professional like Trustpilot or reviews.io, whatever it is, you need to put those reviews on your website, because again, that communicates you can do the job and you've obviously previously satisfied customers as well. And there's other ways to build up trust as well. If you look at other websites that have high trust signals, what do? They show people any high profile, kind of nationally recognized brands they've worked with. For example, if you do have the Google logo as a client of yours, if you worked with Google, that's a massive trust booster, because everyone knows who Google is. The bigger the company is that you've worked with, definitely get their logo on site to kind of signal that you've worked with that company. But also it means that you can build trust, because you're leveraging the trust of that brand on your website, so people know you can do a job for a big company, which means you can probably do it for them as well. Another question to ask is, are you part of any trade bodies or third-party organizations that regulate your industry or that kind of help your industry, and they're known across people as well? So for example, in America, you could be Better Business Bureau as one example. If you're here in the UK, you could have Check a Trade, which is kind of the tradesman vetting website. Anything like that where consumers will know who the organizations are, put them on your website as well, because that's going to help build up more trust on top of what we've talked about already. Oh, and also make sure you're doing the obvious basic things, you know, spelling and grammar, these kind of things. You'll be surprised how many websites have awful grammar and awful spelling, because any trust signals you put on the website, bad grammar, bad spelling, poor professionalism of language, is going to take away any trust you've built up through reviews or whatever. So make sure you basically leverage the help of ChatGPT if you need it to rewrite your content in a professional way without grammar mistakes or spelling mistakes as well. And of course, if you're struggling with your website, get professional help. You're not a web designer. I'm not a web designer. I can kind of use Elementor on WordPress and Squarespace and stuff, but I'm not a designer. So get professional help if you really need it. It's your business. You need to make sure you're putting your best foot forward, and it makes sense to invest time and effort into your website, because you're going to be spending thousands on advertising. Why would you send people to a website that you haven't really cared about? So make sure you're investing in getting professional help for your website if you really need it. And trust me, a lot of businesses really need it. So say for argument's sake, after all of these things I've mentioned, you've made those fixes, made those changes, and you're still getting 0 conversions. What else could it be? Well, quite frankly, your offer could suck. It means you literally are putting something in the market people do not want. Now, there are 2 types of bad offer. Of course, there are bad offers where it's literally a product or service nobody wants. I'm going to assume that you're not in that market of offering something that people either have never heard of or don't want, and you're probably offering something that people regularly buy and, partake in. For example, let's take the example of a landscape gardening business. Do people want a landscape gardener? Of course they do. People buy landscape gardening services all the time across many, many countries across the world. So yeah, your offer you think is going to be fine because you're a landscape gardener. People hire landscape gardeners, therefore that's it. Well, if that's what you think, you'd also be wrong, because say for argument's sake, you're a landscape gardener, but your offer on the website is from £20,000. That is really expensive. So you're putting yourself at the upper premium, massively premium level of the market, maybe even more than the best landscape gardening companies or the most premium companies there are. You put your pricing on site, people are put off by your pricing, you're not going to get a conversion, so your offer isn't quite right. Or say, for example, you're getting tons of bad reviews. Customers are doing due diligence, they are looking at your company, they are looking at reviews, and if you've got a ton of bad reviews, there's no amount of marketing that's going to overcome that. So you need to do a bit of a cleanup. You need to start getting positive reviews, doing better work to get those reviews, trying not to game the system with fake reviews. I don't like that, but ultimately you need to fix the fundamentals in your business to get better reviews so customers can find you. Because if you have bad reviews, it means your offer is bad, because what you're basically saying is, work with me, I suck. Or another example of a bad offer is actually going the other way to being expensive and being too good to be true. Say, for example, you're offering landscape gardening services from £10 an hour. People are going to think, hold on a second, what's going on here? That seems too good to be true. Is it a scam? It's kind of like those fake guru courses where you see $2,000 for the course. Today's price, $97. What is that about? It's complete BS. So of course, people are going to be suspicious. So therefore, you need to make sure your offer doesn't raise suspicion either. Package your offer in the right way. Look at competitor websites, call up your competitors, go through the process with them, kind of see how they're handling that whole system of getting leads and also handling their customers, what their actual offer is. Look at their websites, position your offer in the market appropriately, and everything should be okay from that perspective. So now you've gone ahead and taken a look at your search terms data. Everything looks good. It looks good on both the search terms standalone, but it also looks good when you look at the Google search results page. Your business looks very much at home on the search terms you're getting. Perfect. You've got a great website, works really well, well written, well optimized, full of trust signals, great reviews on there. You've got a great offer that obviously works well within your market. That's kind of a no-brainer, well positioned in what you do, but you're still getting no conversions. How is this even possible? Well, let me tell you, there's one more thing you need to check, and that is your ambition versus the size of the market. Let me explain. I remember doing a discovery call with somebody who would become a future client, and they were telling me they're getting no conversions, nothing's coming through on their account. So naturally, when I looked through and audited their account, the obvious finding was this. They were in an industry where CPCs typically ranged from $10 to $15 per click. That is the nature of their industry. It's highly competitive, and that is the industry they were in. They had set a $50 per day budget on their Google Ads campaign. What does that mean? It means every day they were getting between 3 and 5 clicks, which is a pitiful amount of traffic. Now, when you start thinking about things like this, where you have traffic levels of 3 to 5 clicks, with just 3 to 5 clicks, you're not going to be able to generate enough conversions to work for the campaign. You're going to get so little data and likely no conversions that you can't really transition to smart bidding. You're not going to get any volume through the campaign. You're going to find it impossible to scale because your budget is way too low. Google Ads is scalable. You don't have to start with massive budgets, but your budget has to reflect the market you're in. If your CPCs are $10 to $15, a $50 a day budget just isn't going to cut it. You need at least an upper 3-figure budget for something like this because the cost of the service is very high as well. The size of the prize at the end of that click when somebody becomes a lead and then a sale for this particular client was up to like $50,000, $60,000. Why are they spending so little on Google Ads when the size of the prize is $60,000? It doesn't make any sense. Every single time you get a click to your website, it's a roll of the dice. Will that person convert? Will they not? If you don't roll the dice enough, you're going to get no conversions. So if you don't get enough traffic in the first place, you're going to have a 0 conversion tally, even with all of the best intentions, even with everything done on the website, with a perfect setup, with perfect traffic, perfect offer, perfect website. You're still going to get nothing because you're lacking ambition in actually going after the market based on the size of the market you are in. So The last takeaway is to appropriately budget your campaigns. Otherwise, you will end up in a situation with 0 conversions, regardless of how good your offer is or your setup is. And that's it, guys. That is how you can end up with 0 conversions and the 5 things you can do to fix it. Let me know in the comments if you have had any of these issues before. I reply to pretty much all comments on all of my new videos. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to head over to darren-taylor.com if you need help with your PPC campaigns, or maybe you're getting 0 conversions and need my help. Let me know and I'll come back to you there. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next video.